Eventually, I decided it was time to come out of my cave. After last night's FaceTime with Dr. Adams, he had announced me recovered enough to not have to check in with him every 4 hours, which was probably as much a relief to him as it was to me. Blinking my eyes back into focus, I got up carefully and opened the curtains in the bedroom with my eyes shut. The blinds were closed behind the drapes, so the light was still muted, but it seemed overbright to me after 4 days in the dark. I made my way through the rest of the house, opening curtains with my eyes half shut, moving slowly so as not to jar my head. I wasn't pain-free by any means yet. I just couldn't lay there in bed any longer. I gave Officer Wilkins a call about 10 a.m. "Hey there, how are you feeling?" He sounded genuinely happy to hear me. "I'm okay. I opened the curtains this morning. Shades are still closed, but I'm getting adjusted to the light." He chuckled. "If you feel up to it, there is one other thing I'd like to go over with you from Saturday." "Sorry." "Sure," I said, wondering what else we could possibly discuss about that disaster. "Do you remember hearing or saying anything when the image started forming and the flashes were going off?" I frowned. "I'm not sure. Let me think for a second." "Of course," Charlie says. I tried to recall, but honestly, I couldn't remember hearing or saying anything. "No idea, sorry. Did I say something or did you hear something?" "None of us heard anything from the image we saw, but we did see you say something. Just one word at every flash." "What was it?" Now I was really curious. "You kept saying free." "Free?" "Yes, free." All the frowning and concentration was starting to give me another headache, so I consciously relaxed my forehead while still trying to remember if I had heard anything like free. What a weird thing to say. I honestly can't remember hearing anything like that, and I don't remember saying it either. Sorry. "No worries," Charlie said. "Just wanting to run it past you. Appreciate you trying." So, I answered. "You up for another try?" Ugh. I thought I might have another day to think about it. "When did you want to try again?" I asked. "Well, would Saturday be too soon?" Charlie asked. I thought quickly. "Today is Wednesday?" "Yep. Another 3 days to recover. With judicious forays outside and a gradual opening of the blinds, I might be almost normal by then." "Almost." I answered. "Can I confirm tomorrow? I'm not sure how fast I'm going to be getting over this." "Of course," Charlie answered. "You just work on getting better." He went on to describe the protocol for the next attempt with the lens, this time using a bone sample. I tried not to react physically to the images my mind was coming up with as I listened to him describe how it would be prepared. We haggled a bit over allowing the lab to have the slides with their bracket, but I realized I had to give up a little control on this. I seriously doubted the police would try to do anything weird with just the slides. Why would they jeopardize any possible results? If nothing else, the first try had taught us all one thing. The lens was real. By the time we finished the call, I was exhausted. I slid down on the couch and closed my eyes, letting the air conditioner's gentle whirring send me once more into blessed sleep. Saturday dawned bright and humid. Houston in full summer meant the air didn't cool much below 80 degrees at night, and the humidity rarely dropped below 80%. I wondered again why I decided to move to Texas. Oregon sounded pretty good right about now. After a tepid shower, I got dressed and regarded my reflection in the mirror. All I could see were red-rimmed eyes with pronounced shadows all around them. "How lovely you look today, Miss Campbell," I said to the reflection. Rummaging around in a cabinet drawer, I managed to find some cover-up and did the best I could to not look like something from a zombie apocalypse horror movie. Determined not to show up early again, I took my time getting my supplies together, the lens in its case in a shopping bag, a small throw pillow on top of that. I wasn't going to sit on the bare linoleum floor a second time. A long sweater to wear if the room was cold, water bottle. I doubted I'd have a chance to drink it, but I probably wanted afterwards. Assuming I didn't end up being blasted by invisible forces and whacking my head again. I sat on the couch and waited until it was time to leave, trying not to think about where I was going or what I was doing. The edges of a panic attack were trying to find room in my chest, but I just envisioned the sanctuary and the fluttering would subside. For a while. Lucero glanced at the preparations they'd made to the interview room. It was the same room they'd used the first time, the tables and chairs having already been removed. The linoleum floor was now completely covered in gray anti-fatigue mats with an additional large rectangular section set in the middle of the room. He hoped that would provide enough cushioning in case anything happened again. Legal had made it clear that adequate protections would not be an option going forward. Glancing at the clock on the wall, he texted the rest of the task force to meet in the tech room in 5 minutes. Charlie shifted from foot to foot, trying not to look at his watch every 15 seconds, braced against the wall in the small tech room. Farley seemed lost in thought, staring through the darkened window at the scene before them of an empty room. Thorne's head popped through the doorway. She glanced at the two men before entering with several stapled documents in hand. "Where's Detective Lucero?" Farley shrugged. "He'll be here soon, I guess. He sent the text, after all." Thorne nodded. "Well, here's the protocol for this test," she added, putting the stack of papers on the small amount of ledge space available next to the monitor on the narrow shelf. Charlie took a copy and tried to read it in the dimly lit room. "Need more light in here," he muttered. "I can't see a thing." "Well, give it a quick read," Thorne answered. "Miss Campbell will be here any minute." Lucero's voice preceded him as he entered the room and flipped on the light, making everyone jump. Swallowing in a now dry throat, Charlie tried to read past all the definitions and descriptions of sterilization and sample preparations, processes to where the actual testing procedure was written out. Bone? We're going to try a sample with bone? Just the idea sounded foreign to him. He rarely had anything to do with lab procedures and wouldn't know how to prepare a specimen slide if his life depended on it. "We believe, according to the limited amount of data available, that the DNA from a bone sample might have the memory recording of a past trauma. This is all new to us too, you know." Thorne sounded defensive to her own ears. "Got it? Well, I guess we'll see." Farley snorted. "I hope so." Lucero glanced at his phone. "She's cleared security." Charlie put the papers back on the shelf, his hand shaking just a little bit. He caught himself from biting a nail. That was an old habit he thought he'd gotten rid of long ago. "Must be worried, I guess," he thought to himself.